dun 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 dun. Oh wait, wrong. Are we doing Star Wars or Marvel today?
I'm down to do Star Wars. You want to talk Star Wars?
Okay.
I can talk all day.
Look at this sweet Lego set that I got.
I like it.
Isn't that
Oh, the electric? Yeah, you got the
Yeah.
electricity
Mm-hmm.
going towards Luke. Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one. I know you're down to talk Star Wars, but let's talk Marvel. We're back.
Okay.
This is take two. First one did not work. Worked great. We had a little bit of IT issues, but that's okay. Someone's single and ready to jingle. And so
this time the Wi-Fi is ready to jingle as well.
Not this guy. All right. So Deadpool 3, it's got a lot of leaks. Ryan Reynolds did not like it. Says the fact that they have to be outside to film a lot of this stuff, so we aren't just stuck inside. What do we call the big dome that they film in now in Atlanta? Remember? I don't remember. I don't either.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, instead of filming in that and getting a bunch of CGI and all this, they want to film outside to get real world backgrounds and nature and all of that nature, which I love. I absolutely love that idea. But when you do that now with today, you have drones, or you have these like spy cams that can go so like these photographs that can go so far in advance to like get a picture. What do you think, man? Ryan Reynolds doesn't like that people are stealing these and leaking them, and they're getting leaked all over. And there are a lot of leaks happening. We found out a leak that's gonna tie in Captain Marvel. We found out a leak that's gonna tie in Moon Knight. We found out a leak that, and they could cut a lot of these. So like, there's a lot of stuff left on the cutting room floor. You know, no idea that any of this will actually make it into the movie, but there's chances, and there's deleted scenes, and there's regular scenes that might have this stuff in it. That's a lot of information to know. You like that, Joel, or no?
I personally, I can't help but look up all this information. So if they didn't leak it, then I would probably have a better time going into the movie because I'd be more surprised. Like the leak for No Way Home, No Way Home, where it's all the villains were going to be in it, and it was like, oh, there's no way they're going to do all of them, right? And then
right.
I still had that doubt in the back of my mind, and then when I saw them, I still thoroughly loved the movie. Yes. I don't think it took away from it too much, other than I would have been shocked to see it firsthand for the first time. But I don't think there's anybody that can go on the internet and not catch any of these spoilers right now, because
for sure,
surely they pop up in your Twitter and Reddit, and they're all over the place. Facebook.
Yes. Yeah. So I like the fact that some leaks get leaked. So I like the idea of them saying this is gonna contain a lot of like possibly like Daredevil and Elektra and X-Men and a lot of the old superhero movies. Well, that's great, because what that tells me is I'm going to go rewatch all of those movies, and I'm going to have a huge Marvel marathon weekend and just watch a ton of movies. And that's going to be great. And I cannot wait for it. And I probably wouldn't have done that. And I probably would have just watched Deadpool 1 and 2 to lead up to the new movie, because, if no spoilers got out. And it's the same thing with the Spider-Man. So when Spider-Man gets leaked that it's going to be a ton of the villains and possibly Toby and Andrew, I was like, well, that's really cool. Because of that, I'm going to go rewatch, especially Andrew Garfield's The Amazing Spider-Man. But yeah, we definitely rewatched them all, especially because Shelby, my wife, had not seen them. So it was great. I was like, let's sit down, let's watch them. It'll make the movie that we're about to go see even more enjoyable for you. Sure. But especially the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man, because even when they came out, I didn't remember much of them. I just didn't really care for them. I just was too caught up in the actual MCU and didn't need to even be bothered by any non-MCU Marvel movies. But then we rewatched them, and because of those leaks, we rewatched them. We went into the movie and we're super excited to see them all. But even still got surprised by like the Daredevil cameo. There were still some surprises in there that I didn't even know anything about until like maybe the day or two before, when it was just impossible after the movie had kind of gotten out across the world. But Deadpool brings up a good point. Like, we're like, the best part of the movies are to be surprised, and we're just ruining. It's like looking at your Christmas presents early.
You mean Ryan Reynolds? You called him Deadpool, but
he's one and the same. You know what I mean? One and the same.
I got you.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's like opening. It's like looking at. It's like your mom being like, "Don't go look in that closet." because that's where your Christmas presents are. And if you want to spoil it, sure, go ahead and look at it. But if you don't, then just wait, and everyone likes the surprise. And I like the surprise a lot more. So I put in our chat, I said, I'm done with any spoilers. I'm going to do as best as I can to avoid them all, even though it's like you said, it's impossible. And I will definitely run across to all of them. I'm not looking at anything. I'm not trying to figure them out. But Joel, it sounds like you are more interested.
Oh yeah, I love them. I'll eat them up. In one of our first episodes, we made that analogy with the Christmas presents, and I was the one who would like try and peel back the tape just so I could see like a little bit of what was in there, whatever the box was. And if they were, if your parents are smart, they put something in a bland cardboard box, so you have no idea what it is. Just a tip for all you parents out there. But I had to like put the tape back down just so it perfectly meshed, so you couldn't tell that I'd gotten in. But that's very sneaky, very sneaky. But I cannot help but go and look at these things. Like even if somebody tells me a spoiler was leaked on blah, I'm gonna go to blah and try and figure out what the leak was because I love it. And I saw a bunch of the Deadpool. There was some like footage, like somebody is recording from this up on a sand hill or something, and they're like looking down, and it's audio, but so far away that you can't actually hear what they're saying or anything. But you see a lot of what's going on, and I think a lot of people would be really upset if they saw what I saw. I think it's gonna be awesome because of what I saw, but I do wish I didn't know what happened because it would have been a lot cooler to see it in theaters.
6 months away, right? Coming out in June or May. When is it coming out? August? Do you know when did they say they were? I think it was May, maybe.
Either May or early June, somewhere in that window.
6-ish months away. By the time the movie comes out, aren't you nervous that you're just gonna know 80% of the movie and like it just won't be?
I think I'll still like it. I don't know. I mean, I knew.
Sure, it'll be good, but is it going to be as good as it could have been had you not known anything going into it and just being like, what?
Well, I'll never know because
I'll never know.
That's Schrodinger's box. Like you either know the cat's dead or you know the cat's alive. You don't know until you actually do one or the other. Yeah. So if I go for the spoils, then I know it's going to be a good movie. I'm ready for it. Whereas you're on the boat where you're trying to get into the theater and then you see it and you're like, okay, that was either good or bad, but now you know.
Yes, that's exactly right. What I need to do, I need to wear like blindfold, like masking, like just straight blinders everywhere I go.
Horse blinders. Yeah, horse racing blinders.
Yes, exactly. Like, and that's, I need to just delete Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, all that stuff up until the movie comes out. But the movie is not the only thing coming out. It is the only movie coming out, but it won't be the only thing coming out. We have Echo coming up, which again we talked about a while ago with the trailer being outstanding. Just getting a temperature gauge on you of where you're at about Echo now that we're really drawn close. Like we're a month away from that show.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I've literally been rewatching the Daredevil season because I hope it's anywhere near as far as that. I mean, you saw in the trailer that Kingpin is every bit as brutal as he was in the Daredevil episode. So I've just been taking some free time to watch all those whenever I can. And I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know how, I mean, I don't know how many people are rewatching. Are you rewatching Hawkeye?
I will be.
Because it's
not
like
right
a Christmas
second, but
thing.
I will. Yeah.
All right,
well,
you're like on the 6th already, so
I know it's coming up
too
quick.
much time until Christmas. Yeah,
it's like 6 episodes at like 35-40 minutes. I can put it down in a day. It'll be no problem.
That's true. I guess you could watch it up until I don't know what you do for your Christmas stuff. Maybe that's the thing y'all do, just like a every night marathon.
That would be cool.
Does Jay watch Hawkeye?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if she did watch Hawkeye last year, 2 years ago, whenever that came out. But
she's old enough to watch it.
Yeah. She's old enough to watch it. Man, I take her to see. Me and her just watched Saving Private Ryan a couple days ago. That girl can see everything, so I ain't too worried about it.
That's real life too. I mean,
that is real life.
That's not even.
By the time she wakes up, man, real life's gonna kick her in the head real soon. She's 7 years old. You got to wake up. You know what I
But yeah,
mean?
I'm very excited for Echo, and
Yeah.
I don't know when Daredevil Born Again is supposed to come out. I'm really hoping that they'll
2034, I think I heard.
probably. Oh man, I really hope, because it seems like those storylines would tie in with the way they're kind of showing Kingpin, and looks like possibly Daredevil's in it as well. I really want them to take Daredevil Born Again and revisit that Civil War era. Go back, not the actual American Civil War, but
Right.
the Marvel Civil War. Go back, and I want to know, after the Sokovia Accords, what did Matt Murdock think about it? What happened in his life? Did he hang up the gauntlet for a bit? Did he just stay as the blind lawyer for a bit? What did he do? And the
Interesting.
Punisher, and
Mhm.
Luke Cage, Jessica
Mhm.
Jones, even Iron Fist. I want to know what all those people were up to during that time between when they reference, because they reference in Daredevil, they reference that New York battle, the very first Avengers movie. So sometime between there, I want to see what happened.
I
You know,
wish they would have tied the original Daredevil, the whole Defenders era, into the MCU better. Like, I really do wish that would have been the case. It'd been really fun.
it's still it's loose. I
Yeah,
think they
it's
could get it
loose.
in. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
with using Daredevil Born Again and maybe Echo, maybe they could pull it in a little bit better. Maybe not that exact timeline, but a very similar timeline.
I
Yeah.
know. It just would have been cool if that stuff would have been happening in the MCU, and then you got to see him in the Avengers and stuff like that. Endgame. Um. So I was gonna bring up What If, right? Oh no, you know what? I did want to bring up What If, but before I even do that, there was a big rumor going around that Robert Downey Jr. had been like the talks about bringing him back and whatnot, and then there was a hefty ganache put on it. 86 did. They were like, no, we're not doing that. Would you be excited if Robert Downey Jr. were to come back as Iron Man? Would you be like, ooh, beating a dead horse, like we're trying to just get money? Or, where would you stand if Iron Man were to make an appearance in one of Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars?
I think if he's going to make an appearance, it would be as his projection AI form. I think that
Mm,
makes more sense than anything else. I think like it kind of said in that article, I think his death was the best sacrificial play that you've ever seen. I mean, for the most selfish character in the MCU to make the sacrificial play, I think that is one of the best deaths that could have been in the MCU. And sure, there's other more powerful characters that could have grabbed the gauntlet, but it wouldn't have meant as much. So that's why him taking it, make the sacrificial play, totally worth it. And I don't want him to come back and spoil that. Other than
okay.
maybe his
Would you more
his
sacrifice, more better sacrifice Tony Stark or Qui-Gon Jinn?
ah, I think Tony Stark.
Okay, I'm just curious. Qui-Gon
Yeah,
Jinn gave up. He just gave up. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, or you could even say Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader in Episode 4. But I think Qui-Gon getting killed led the path for Obi-Wan to defeat Darth Maul, which led the path to him training Anakin, which led the path to Anakin becoming Vader, which led the path of Luke, taking him down. I think Qui-Gon
right.
really set that whole
But
thing up.
But if you watch the Clone Wars, then Qui-Gon Jinn didn't even achieve his goal. Like, I mean, he dies, but Maul doesn't even die. Maul comes
No,
back as
Maul
this
doesn't
little
die, right? But I don't think his goal was
spider
for
creature.
Maul for Obi-Wan to kill Maul. I think it was to set the whole. I think he could see that he needed to die to set this whole chain reaction into place, which ultimately led to the
Then
demise
why
of the
is Ray?
Empire
Then why is Ray?
because they needed more money. You know what I mean? Because they
Yeah,
needed more
the
money.
correct order to watch Star Wars for everyone listening is Episode 4, 5, 6, Rogue One, and then 4, 5, 6. Just skip everything else, and you're good to go.
Yeah, pretty much. I like Revenge of the Sith. Actually, I really liked 7, 8, and 9. Well, 7 and 9 particularly, but we've talked about that before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyways,
Back to Marvel.
so yeah, and then okay, so
You said
Iron
you had some
Man.
thoughts on. Okay, Iron Man.
I
Yeah.
want to talk about Iron Man real quick. I
What are
want to
your
just say
thoughts? Do you want him to be brought back? Do you think
I'm
He had a good
curious.
send off.
I'm curious before I get into my thoughts on if you would ever want an Iron Man to come back. Like not Tony Stark, but do we want a new Iron Man? Like Iron
Ooh,
Man is a
yeah.
huge pivotal point of the Avengers and always has been. Isn't Thor, isn't Captain America, isn't Hulk, but Iron Man, even though he was kind of one of the B-list superheroes throughout the comics growing up, he still was a part of it. And then he obviously sets the MCU up. Would you ever want an Iron Man back, or are you just like good and done with Iron Man? We Iron Man is over. There is no more Iron Man. We can talk about him, but we'll never see him again.
I think with the path they're going, if they're gonna keep going with the time runs out and following that storyline, I don't think you need anybody recast as Iron Man for the foreseeable future. Like
Okay.
until they follow all the way through that time runs out. Other than like I said, maybe he can be his AI version for
So don't you
Riri or
think
something like
that
that.
the MCU is now we don't because we love the MCU, but the MCU is not making money. The MCU is just like movie after movie. They're a lot of their
Yeah.
movies lately have been very lackluster. Do you think that's because they're trying to make characters like Shang-Chi and the Eternals more prevalent rather than just continuing with the main people that everyone
Yeah.
that everyone knows? And it doesn't have to be Tony Stark or like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, but like if they brought I bet if they just did an Iron Man movie and been like, we're getting a new, it's gonna be a different timeline, it's gonna be a different actor. Do you think that movie would make more than the Marvels? I think so.
Only if it was good. Yeah. So I think the actual issue is that there's people, and I've said this before, there's people looking over other people's shoulders and being like, oh, but you know what we should do is we should change this and this and this. And it's people that are higher up that have the say so, but don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I mean,
Yeah, I think you're right.
like I said, Aman Vellani. Oh, I didn't say that on this episode. That was on the one we had to retake. But I think if you just gave a little bit of power, a little bit of say so to Aman Vellani, she's got her finger on the pulse of
Mhm.
the MCU. She's a diehard fan. She understands if for at least the movies and stuff that she's going to be in, I think she'll
Mhm.
give you her 100% opinion. Like this is what fans are going to see, and I think she could speak for the majority of the fan base, the people that actually read the comics and the people that are just fans of the MCU alike. I think like 70 or more percent would agree with what Aman Vellani thinks.
I think
So
so.
if they just do that, and maybe just instead of going off some studio executive that lives in this big palace, instead of going off of his opinion on what the MCU should turn on to, maybe come to the fans, not even like all the fans, because you know what happens when you make a public vote on things, but one of your employees. Maybe I just think she's got great ideas on it. I think if they keep adapting the comics and they do the time runs out and all these things, I think she would really help out with some of that. I think she understands it. So
They should just come to us. We got our finger on the pulse. We'll tell them what to do.
yeah, yeah.
We'll make it real good. No more shows. Okay, yeah, I want to see Robert Downey Jr. back. I'm not gonna just beat around any bush. Like I want to see
Okay.
him back. I don't care how they do it. I'm done with the idea of Marvel death meaning something. Not one
Yeah.
person that's died in Marvel hasn't been resurrected somehow, basically. So I'm bring him back, bring Black Widow back. We'll just bring him
Black
back.
Widow. Yeah.
It's fine. We'll bring them back. They're not really dead.
Black Widow
So
Vision.
we'll bring them back. We'll get Captain America back. Let's get the whole team and let's just do that again. That'd be fun. No, I do want that, but the way I think MCU needs to go about these things is what did we have in the first phase? We had an Iron Man movie, a Hulk movie, a Captain America movie, a Thor movie, and an Avengers movie. What do we have in phase two? We had an Iron Man movie, another Iron Man movie, a Thor movie, a Captain America movie, and a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And then Avengers. If you are not capping every phase off with a huge team up, and it doesn't have to say the word Avengers, it doesn't have to. Fuck, even if there isn't a name already set up from the comics, create your own, but get your so phase four, you had Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, Eternals, and some other ones I can't think of at the very top of my head. Get those people teamed up at the end of the movie, at the end of the phase. Team them up. And if you are not going to do these team ups, and it's like Thunderbolts are getting the off-casted, the outcasted, the not. Get your main characters from 3 to 4 movies and team them up. It is so simple. And they're avoiding it. They're avoiding it like it's the plague, and I don't understand it. That's how the MCU needs to make it.
I think it's because of a big reveal, and I don't think comic readers and super fans will really think it's that big of a reveal. But I've said this before. I think that some of those properties were in a parallel universe. So I think if it's going to come down to it, like what if, Ant-Man, Scott Lang, what if when they got back, they weren't in the same universe that they started in? Like they even made it kind of seem like he was second guessing where he was. So maybe he's in a just parallel universe. So now we have these 2 groups. So we have an Avengers here and Avengers here.
So MCU is just going to tank on a ton of money until they can do this big reveal 10 years later. It just makes no sense. Like,
I mean, if they could have just teased it, but I guess if they're just trying to keep it super close to the chest,
they need to
I do think a lot, like I said, I think a lot of it is people on the top talking over their shoulders, saying,
especially with the change in CEO at Disney over the last couple of years, and he doesn't know what he's doing. And someone called him out from the Marvel. I can't remember.
The Bobs. Meeting with the Bobs.
All right, we got to wrap this show up soon. I got to get my kid over to acting class. Speaking of acting, I did want to bring up What If before we head out. This show is coming in 3 weeks, not even 2 weeks. Here comes my kid right now to be like, we got to go.
Get ready. Hey, Jay.
Hi.
You want to say anything about Marvel?
I love it.
All right.
What's your favorite?
What was your favorite?
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Okay. She's the best. Right. She's the best. All right, I'll be done in 5 minutes, and we'll get ready to go.
How do you spell lion?
Lions. 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 Speaking of, go Saints. Lions. Go Lions. That's $10, brother. Me and Joel put $10 on the Lions-Saints game. Lions ran away in the beginning, but made it really
almost
close. Yeah, almost came back. Luckily, the Lions made a good play. Anyways, What If comes out in a couple of weeks. Where are you at? Have you rewatched season 1 yet?
No, and I'm probably not going to because I don't think it really matters. Except for like 2 episodes where they actually tie everybody together. Mm-hmm. I'll probably rewatch those. But I'm really excited for the happy, basically being Die Hard. And,
Die Hard, yeah.
He's basically Die Hard. It seems like he's Die Hard in Avengers Tower instead of Yakatomi Tower or whatever.
Have you looked at the Avengers Tower Lego set?
Nope.
Oh, $500.
Does it have a little happy Marvel hanging out the side?
I hope so. I truly hope so.
Is he like hanging on to the fire hose?
I hope so. I hope I'm getting it for Christmas. I told my wife to get me that, but I was like, also, you don't need to spend $500 on me. Just give me the Sanctum Sanctorum from the Doctor Strange movies. That would be just as good. We got to end it right now, though. I really do got to get going. So thank you for listening. Short episode. We actually had 2 episodes. If you want to watch 4 minutes of hilarity earlier, it was great. Joel, way to get the computer up and running. Yeah, you were roboting over there for sure. And it was great. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We're on Spotify. We're on Reddit. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on everything. Facebook. I don't know. Casey's not here. She does all this normally. But next week, tune in. Join us because we're going to do our fantasy Marvel draft. And it is going to be exciting. I am not losing this year. I'm winning.
And as always, it's an unedited podcast. So, when you get these issues, that's what you get. Sorry, guys.
That's what you get. Let's call a spade a spade. It is what it is. All right. Thank you for listening. Go Marvel. Woo.
Go Marvel.
Go Marvel.
Single